Good afternoon. Joyce at Delightful Quilting and Sewing, a quilting dealer in Avon, New York. I had a request recently to do a video about thread. This is my thread here, hanging on the wall on these nice racks that I found online. They actually come in smaller pieces, so this is one down to here and another one down to here, and it goes across to right here. So I have 6 of these on the wall, and that's how I manage my thread. And I know there's lots of ways to do it, but this works for me. So the title of this is Using Cones and Spools, and that was the question that was proposed to me. How do you use spools? Because sometimes spools have just what you want on them, and for some reason there isn't a cone out there that really meets the needs that you have, even though we have this nice variety of many colors. And by no means do I have a lot. I've seen people with way more thread than me. Sort of like a stash of fabric, you get a stash of thread. So over here at the Pro, I've got this set up to show you some different things here. One of the things that's really important about thread is checking to see how it is wrapped on the container. Now, cones are cross-wrapped, and you can see this here. You can see how it angles back and forth, all the way up and down the cone. And when it is cross-wrapped like this, it is okay to use it on our long arms and have the thread just pull off the top of the cone just like that. It comes off and it doesn't twist when it comes off. So all of the cones, at least all that I'm familiar with, have this cross wrapping so that we can use them vertically and have the thread just pull off the top. So that's this one here, this type of cone right here. You can see that one is also cross wrapped back and forth. Here's a glide, same thing, cross wrapped back and forth. So these are all used, placed vertically, just like this, and the thread will feed right off the top of this and will not twist as it goes through your machine. That being said, when you're working with a spool, these are wrapped differently. They're wrapped from one end to the other horizontally, with each thread next to the one that went around the spool before it. And as a result of this, these have to pull off of the spool on the side of the spool. You cannot pull these off the top and have them be very successful, because what happens is, as they pull off, the thread twists and twists and twists and twists, and finally eventually kind of breaks. It's especially true if you're using something like this. This is a metallic. It's not actually a metallic, it's a polyester hologram thread that is gold. Here's Superior's gold thread. And again, side wrapping, each wrap next to the one previous to it, horizontally all the way up and down the cone, up and down the spool. So these cannot be used in the same way. And if you do use them the same way, what happens here is, if I can get this loose, what happens is after you pull this up, see what's happening? See how that's twisting? It's hard to focus in on that, but the more I pull this up, the more twist, and maybe you can see the twist there, is twisting, 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 twisting. And eventually you'll get little knots, and the knots will try and go through the tensioner and then through your needle, and you'll end up with a broken needle, and things just don't work well. So when they're horizontally wrapped like they are on a spool, like this, do not use them by pulling the thread off the top. Don't put it on your spool pin on your long arm like this and pull it off the end of the spool, because they will twist and cause all kinds of bad experiences for you. So how do you handle something like that? Because some of those threads are only available on spools. They're not available on cones. So this little device that I have right here is available. I bought it online. I've had it quite a long time and I don't remember where I bought it, but if you look around online, you will find it. This is what it is right here. It's called a specialty thread spool pin adapter. The thread director changes the orientation of the sewing machine spool pin, allowing metallic and delicate specialty threads to feed flat into the thread path, eliminating twisting and breakage. So it comes with some pretty good instructions right here. It also comes with some extra screws in case you lose the screws, and 2 different sizes of spool caps, a small one and a large one. So what I have here is I have signature, this is variegated thread that could be used for quilting. It's a trilobal polyester, and I have it in here sideways so that as I pull on it like this, you can see the spool turning horizontally like that and feeding up through my shepherd's hook at the top there. And so as I pull on this, there's no twist in this thread. Now, this particular thread probably wouldn't twist to the same extent as this metallic thread right here. Metallic thread can be a real bugaboo to try and use because it just twists and twists and twists. So depending on the thread that you're using, especially if you're going to be using a horizontal wrap like this, turn your spool horizontally so that it just pulls off the side of it and unwinds, and the spool will turn. So unlike our cones, which don't turn, of course, this one, as you pull the thread off, is going to turn. And that's what will allow you to use something, especially like a metallic thread. And as we get closer to the holidays here, you may want to try some metallic thread in your machine. Always test it on something that is not important. You know, work out all the bugs on something that isn't going to be a gift for somebody, and see how it works for you. So I do have another suggestion if you decide to use something like metallic thread. When you are threading your machine, what I've found with the metallic threads, this one, another one that I have here is, it's called Brilliance. It's a YLI thread. I don't know if they have this anymore. I've had some of this thread a very long time. Even if you use bottom line, this is a small spool of bottom line, and you want to use this for background fill or something like this. Again, this is horizontally wrapped, and this you would need to use in a horizontal spool holder so that it feeds off the side of this, so that again, this doesn't twist and knot up on you. But as far as working with metallic thread, which could be one like this one right here, which is a signature product, this hologram thread, or this one from Superior, their gold thread that's actually a polyester, but it really is a metallic thread here. When you are going through your thread guides, you'll of course need to go through the shepherd's hook. You'll need to go through the spool pin on the top of the machine, and always go through the hole closest to the machine, because as you're sewing, the thread has a tendency to jiggle around and flop around, and if it's going through this outside hole right there, there's a much greater chance of the thread catching on that, especially if it's a thread like the metallic thread, because that is stiffer than regular thread. So then we go down to our 3-hole guide that's right above the tensioner. What I usually do with a metallic thread is I only go through one of the holes. So I skip the first two here and I go down the one that would be the last hole, and then around the tensioner and finish the thread path the same way I normally do. With metallic thread, you will be adjusting the tension. You must test it first because this thread does not sew in the same way as our regular quilting thread does. So you will have to fuss with the tension. Also, you'll want to pick a thread that would be compatible with it for the bobbin area. And with that, especially with the metallic thread, because this is a little bit coarser thread, you might want to pick a lighter weight thread to use in the bobbin. But again, that's something that you have to just test and try some different things to see what works. And above all, when you're using a metallic thread, you must stitch slower. This thread does not have the same pliability as our regular quilting threads. And as a result, to go through the thread path, through the needle, go down through the quilt sandwich and make the loop that can be picked up by the hook, if you stitch too fast, it isn't going to happen. So you must slow down when you're using a metallic thread. So I hope that answers some of your questions about thread and whether you can use spools of thread or not. Again, I recommend always choosing thread that is meant for machine stitching. And that, of course, includes all of the cones that we have on the market that we buy, but it also includes spools that are meant for machine stitching, because many people that use their home sewing machine will buy a spool like this to do their quilting on their home sewing machine. So those are definitely possibilities, and this is the way that you manage it on your long arm. So I hope this helps, and please, if you do some projects using the side threader here or some metallic, please let me know, and we'll get them posted on my Facebook page because I think others would enjoy seeing those as well. So that's all for today. I wish you the best. Happy quilting until next time.